I'm excited to bring you this video today because this is the very first wall-mounted battery that I've installed. This is the Sungold Power SG48100M 5,120 watt hours of capacity battery that connects to multiple inverters, including the EG4 6000 XP that I have there. But this has settings that can work with many different inverters. And I'll leave a link in the description below so you can check and see if it works with the inverter that you have or that you're interested in purchasing. But I'm going to show you exactly how I installed this battery. But before we do that, let's get acquainted with it and talk a little bit more about it. And then we'll get into the install process and I'll show you exactly how we ended up right here. This is the Sungold Power Powerwall. This is a 48 volt 100 amp hour lithium ion phosphate battery with a nominal voltage of 51.2 volts and a total capacity of 5,120 watt hours. And never worry about running out of energy because you can connect up to 32 of these batteries into parallel for a total capacity of 163.84 kilowatt hours. That is an insane amount of capacity when you're talking about battery storage. The battery is suitable for most outdoor use and that the enclosure is IP65 rated. And that brings me to the operating temperatures. For charging this battery, you have a range between 32 Fahrenheit and 113 Fahrenheit. While using this and discharging the cells, you can go between -4 Fahrenheit and a positive 140 Fahrenheit. And Sungold Power is not a brand new company. This company's been around since 2014 and they offer a 10-year warranty on this battery. Overall dimensions are 23 inches tall, 16.5 inches wide, and 6 inches deep. The weight of this is rather heavy at 116 pounds, which makes it really challenging when you're trying to put something up this high by yourself and it weighs that much and it's kind of awkward to get back on the bracket. And later in the video, I'll show you the fails that I had trying to get this thing installed by myself and how I actually had to go about doing it. But I do want to point out, if you're putting this up on a wall at this height, you may want to have a friend to help you put it up there because it is rather challenging. And before I installed this up on the wall, I did take some footage of the bottom of it to kind of give you a better idea of what you will see on the bottom side of that. That's the only area that you're going to have ports coming out of this battery is on the bottom. We have 2 positives and 2 negatives. 1 positive, 1 negative would go to your inverter. And if you want to expand your capacity, you would then connect the positive and the negative to the next battery. And then we'll move over to the pin settings where I'll talk more about this later in the video, how you need to set this up. Because depending on the amount of batteries or where your battery is located in your stack, will depend on how you want to set that pin setting up. Then your communication ports are on the far right. You'll have 3 RS485 ports labeled A, B, and C. The A is what goes to your inverter. Your CAN communication can work with different types of inverters as well. And then there is an RS232 communication port there that some people will use. But for this setup, we're only using the RS485A port. And this is a very simple process of hooking this battery up to an inverter. This will work with all sorts of different types of inverters. If you're using the CAN port, these are the protocols that the battery is compatible with. So we'll enter into it. And these are all the different inverters that you can set that protocol to actually communicate with these inverters. Now, if you're going to be using the 485 port and those protocols, so we'll go down and you'd want to set those protocols to these inverters. So as you can see, there are a lot of inverters that this battery is capable of working with. Don't let all the wires or the battery specifications or inverter specifications intimidate you. And that's pretty much the overview of the battery. Now we're going to get to the installation part of the video. And before I do that, I do want to talk about this little section right here. This looks like it might be a handle to lift this battery up with, but I find that it just don't give you enough grip to grab something this heavy. Use the handles that are designated for lifting on the top of the battery. Use this, you're probably going to slip off and hurt yourself or drop the battery and hurt the battery. And something to be aware of is when you're installing your battery and your inverter, actually, you'll want to put a hardy biker board or something over these combustible products like this OSB board or anything that might be combustible. If you're putting this on block wall, you're completely fine. This is a temporary setup for me, so I didn't do that, but I did want to point out that anytime you're installing an inverter or your batteries, always put a hardy biker board or concrete board on your wall and then put the batteries on top of that to protect against a fire. And your wiring should be in conduit. I should have this in conduit, but being that I test and I'm constantly checking these wires and interchanging them with different inverters and batteries, I don't put this in conduit, but you should have a conduit ran for your PV cable, your battery cables, your communication cables, any cables that are coming in for your grid or your load going out, and your PV cables coming into this system. Your battery cables going over to here should be protected, and your communication cable protected from the battery. So if you have multiple batteries, you want to make sure the conduit or set you up a trough, kind of like this one that we have right here, that works perfectly for adding in wires. So just make sure to add everything in conduit if you're doing a more permanent setup. This is temporary, but I do want to point out some of the things that I was unable to do that you should be doing. And once you have it mounted, you'll want to make sure to add these security screws back in. Now that I have my battery mounted to the wall, I need to connect it to the inverter. And the first thing that I want to do is make sure that everything is turned off on the inverter. And I'm going to make my battery connections and my communication cable connections on the inverter. And then I'm going to connect them to the battery. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. see the battery, it may be in this default position or that default position, all of them off or the very first one turned on. If you're only using one battery, then this is your master battery, your very first battery closest to the inverter. That first pin needs to be turned on. And that's how I'm setting it up today with just one battery. So that pin needs to be turned on. And at this point, your battery will operate, but you'll want to ground it to an earth ground right there. I don't have this grounded to an earth ground because this is a temporary setup, but you definitely want to connect your ground to an earth ground. And now I'm ready to turn the battery on. So I'll use this switch right here to turn the battery on. To actually use the menu, you got to hit menu, and then you're going to have to set the parameters to whatever inverter you'll be using. And although this is branded EG4, this is actually a LiFePO4 inverter. From the start menu, you'll hit menu to enter into your settings. You'll want to go down, down. Your third button is your down button. First is menu, enter, down, and escape. So we went down to parameter settings, then we're going to hit enter, and then we need to set the protocol to the correct inverter. So we want to go down and select the CAN port, and we'll do the 485 port as well. So we'll enter into this, and then we'll scroll down until we find LiFePO4, hit enter, and then hit enter again because yes, we want to, and then we'll hit escape. Now we'll go down to the 485 port and set that protocol. Click enter, scroll down until we find the LiFePO4, hit enter, hit yes, hit escape. Now I'm just going to hit escape again to go back to the main screen, but we just set the parameters for this battery to work with our inverter. And if you're using an EG4 6000 XP inverter, these next steps are going to be perfect for you. You'll turn on the inverter, because now what we want to do is make sure that the communication between the inverter and the battery are taking place. And then we'll go over here and we'll turn on the battery, which will turn on the inverter because we have the battery on right here. So the inverter is now on and running with the backup battery. We can now turn on the solar, because we do have this connected to solar. So now we're going to be charging the battery with solar. And for this to communicate correctly with your battery, you need to set the battery type and the battery code. To do that, you'll press and hold enter till you get that double beep. We'll go up until the number 3 setting. My battery is right here flashing. I'll hit enter. We want that set to Li ion, so lithium ion. Then we'll go down. I'll show you the different ones: lead acid, and then no battery. I don't know why you would ever use no battery in case you just don't have any battery connected to it, but you'll want to connect this to lithium ion, hit enter, and then your battery brand is right here. Set that to 0 for this battery, and then hit enter. And then the inverter will restart. And now you should be able to turn on your critical load center and be able to back it up using your inverter and your battery. The fans have kicked on the inverter because we're charging the battery, but let's turn on our load center. So we'll turn load on. We got everything turned on the inverter. We have our solar coming in, the inverter's turned on, the actual load center's turned on, the battery's turned on, and your EPS is turned on. Over in the critical load center, we're going to switch it from utility to generator because this is our backup right now. And then we'll just switch this over real quick. We didn't even get a flicker. And now we're powering with PV first, then battery second, and anything from the PV that is left over is charging the battery. And we do have communication with the battery, as we can see right there, 41% on the battery. If you didn't have any communication, that would just kind of zero out and you wouldn't have anything there. So right now we're at around 40% on the battery. And let's just go over on the battery and confirm that. So in our analog information, we'll hit enter, and then we'll go down, 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 down to the cell capacity, hit enter, and we're at 41%. So We got 41% showing here, 41% showing over on the inverter as well. Overall, the process was very simple, hooking the battery to the inverter and getting everything to work correctly. My biggest challenge was getting this lifted up this high on the wall onto that bracket, just because of the weight of the battery itself. Maybe if I was Brian Shaw or Thor or Eddie Hall or somebody like that, maybe I can lift this up with no problem over my head with one hand and put it on a bracket. But most of us, we're not going to be able to just install this very simply by grabbing it and putting it up on a bracket when it's this high up off the wall. So make sure to grab an extra hand to get it up there. But that was my biggest challenge. Overall, everything else went very smoothly. Hey, if you found this video helpful in any way, be sure to smash the thumbs up button. It really does help me out a lot. I do appreciate it. Thank you for that. I do have a bunch of other solar related videos you might be interested in, so you want to check those out. You can look in the links in the description below for my full playlist, and I'll try to add some links here so you can just click into might be relevant to what you're interested in. So I hope to catch you in those videos and in the future.